But you did not miss weight last time.
No, I have never ever like issue with my weight, and the make the weight is not a hard deal for me. So, and for especially how you can miss the weight if you're been waiting for that fight. Like
Never.
the worst thing, I overtrained and it hurt my back, especially when I was dehydrated. I hurt my back, and doctors came and checked my back, and yeah, they said like if you couldn't move, if you couldn't make the weight, just don't do that. So, but like Oliveira has no chin, you know. Like a lot of people drop him, and he plays guard, but he's getting old now. His chin not there, and
How do you beat Ilia Topuria?
it's not just the wrestling. I'm a well-rounded fighter, and I'm not gonna just try to wrestle him. I'm gonna strike him. I'm gonna kick him. I'm gonna up kick him, and and like try to do. But yeah, obviously I'm not gonna try to box him. I'm gonna try to do like a real MMA fight, to show him wrestling, to punch him wrestling, to show him wrestling, to kick him, and like clinch work.
I got a quote from you, Arman. I'd like you to kind of go on. Topuria hasn't fought good wrestlers. He only fought Bryce Mitchell, and he took him down and held him there. I know for sure that wrestlers like Islam and myself can take him down and control him on the ground. Can you just elaborate on that? Like,
I mean, he's a good striker. Not good striker, he's a good boxer. But I feel like myself, I'm a better like a MMA fighter than him, because I'm more skilled than him. I got good kicks, knees, like wrestling, setup, boxing is wrestling against the cage, grappling, everything. He has just good boxing, and that's all. So.
Hi guys, it's Mr. TDC. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button, and engage in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about this whole Arman Tsarukyan and the possibility of whether Arman Tsarukyan is going to be fighting for the lightweight belt. Listen, guys, let me first start off by saying I've been very impressed by everything Arman Tsarukyan has been doing ever since he had to pull out of the fight between himself and Islam Makhachev, which eventually led to Islam Makhachev defending his belt against Renato Moicano. I have been very impressed with Arman, right? Apparently, he pulled out due to a back injury. Now, we've heard that before, but initially when it happened, a lot of people were saying, including Dana White, I believe, mentioned or implied, whatever you want to call it, that Arman Tsarukyan missed weight. No, he actually did not miss weight. He had a back injury. But then he lost. He had to pull out of that fight. Obviously, the UFC got upset with him, and they put him in a black book, right? And that black book, Uncle Dana's black book, is one place that is very hard to come out of. So he was put in the black book, and then it's almost like the UFC just went on without Arman Tsarukyan, and so many things have happened. The landscape of the lightweight division has completely changed since Arman Tsarukyan pulled out of the fight. But Arman didn't take this lying down, right? Arman has now actually pulled himself out of the black book and put himself in the good graces of the UFC, and I'll tell you how. First and foremost, Arman Tsarukyan was the backup fighter for the fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. And guess what? He made weight this time. Now, if there's one way to get back in the UFC's good graces, that's how you do it. Here's another thing Arman has been doing. I mean, Arman has been making the media rounds and creating enough buzz, stating his position and stating his claim through that title shot with Ilia Topuria. because he is the actual number one contender. Even though the UFC, I keep saying the UFC rankings right now don't make any sense. Not many people follow the rankings anymore. The rankings are just, it's like a formality, right? The UFC is more about, it's more about entertainment than it is the actual sports process of going through the rankings. And Arman has been entertaining us, if that's the angle you want to come from. Arman has been very entertaining, telling everybody what he's going to do to Ilia Topuria, what he thinks about Ilia Topuria, and anybody else who gets a stray bullet. He's just been talking. He's been making claims. He's been going around. He's been on the Jackson podcast since he pulled out of that fight. He's been on the Jackson podcast with Rampage Jackson and Bear. He's been on the Errol Hawani show. He's been on Daniel Cormier's show. He's been on Mike Perry's show, podcast, the Overdog podcast. I mean, the dude has been going from interview to interview to interview, making the buzz and laying claims to why he must be next for the title shot. And I can't say I disagree, because think about it, guys. Who should Ilia fight? Quite frankly, I keep saying, the only fight I really want to see between Ilia Topuria and someone else is Islam Makhachev. That is my number one dream fight. But let's keep that aside, because that's also very dependent on what happens between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. That's happening later, maybe November or whatever, right? So that's aside. But in the absence of that mega fight between Jack and that legacy fight rather between Jack and Islam, what's going to happen in the lightweight division? Ilia Topuria has said he wants Paddy Pimblett. Guys, I'm not even going to play around. I don't want to see that fight right now. I really don't. There's beef, it's organic, it's going to be a huge fight. Both guys are big stars, but it's going to be a very hard sell when Arman Tsarukyan has been putting himself back in the good graces of the UFC and making the rounds everywhere. And there's nowhere you turn to and Arman's face isn't there. There's one clip about Arman talking about Ilia Topuria. There's one clip or the other about Arman just talking and pushing for the fight. Whoever is Arman Tsarukyan's PR person, whoever is his manager, listen, you have to shake their hands. They're doing the right thing. Look at Paddy Pimblett, for instance. What is Paddy Pimblett doing to promote the fight between himself and Ilia Topuria? Especially since he got in the octagon after Ilia knocked out Charles Oliveira. Not much. A couple of interviews here and there with maybe Tom Aspinall or a few other people within his circle, making one or two comments that really, for me, don't really justify why he should fight Ilia Topuria over Arman Tsarukyan. None. But Arman has been consistent. Arman has been intentional. Arman just keeps being in our faces. And I, for one, am tired of seeing him, and I want that fight to get done. I want that fight to get done and over with. And let's see if Ilia Topuria is going to break. Listen, my money's on Ilia. That's first and foremost. But the thing Volkanovski said about Ilia Topuria is, we've never seen Ilia Topuria grapple, even though he came into the UFC as a grappler. Ilia Topuria, we haven't seen him really grapple, especially grapple in championship rounds. What's that going to look like against a prolific wrestler like Arman Tsarukyan, who literally can strike also very well and has a gas tank almost like Merab's? What's that going to look like? Do we not at least want to see Ilia do one title defense against the actual number one contender in the lightweight division, and then he can decide to fight Paddy Pimblett or Islam Makhachev if Islam wins? And actually, That's also if the UFC doesn't give someone else the shot at Paddy Pimblett. And who might be the person right now that I would say Paddy Pimblett could fight outside of Ilia Topuria? It has to be Justin Gaethje. And Gaethje has said he doesn't want any fight other than a title fight, that the UFC owes him that. So the landscape is just the landscape of the lightweight division. It's pretty flexible right now. But for all intents and purposes, for what it's looking like so far, I think Arman Tsarukyan might get the next title shot. And if he does, Mr. TDC is very fine with that. I'll see you guys on the next one. Mr. TDC out. Peace.